My mouse is working. Hi, everybody. This is Lunch and Learn, and we're a job search support group. I'm Linda Brubaker, and I've been a career coach. Oh, my goodness, it's almost been 8 years. Next month, it actually will be 8 years that I've been doing this on a full-time basis. And one of the things that I love about this and this role today is being able to, sorry, I'm having trouble finding, I'm hearing an echo over here, so sorry about that if I'm doing this here. There we go. But one of the things that I love about this group is the ability to give back. You've got people on this session who are not only job seekers, but you've got other coaches, other people who are here to support you and give you advice. We know you don't really want to be here, and our goal is to give you the tips and tricks so that you can move from this group into that next forever job that you're looking for. Let me tell you a little bit about myself, and then I'm going to let some of the other people who are on here can also introduce themselves. I've been a recruiter, a hiring manager, a headhunter, although I know they don't call those that anymore. It's what is an executive search consultant, a hiring manager, and an HR business partner. And I've got over 20 years worth of experience in those kinds of roles. As I mentioned, I've been a job search coach now for almost 8 years. Over 900 of the people that I've worked with in that time frame have gotten offers. They've moved into their next forever jobs. So one of the things we're trying to do is give you those opportunities, those tips and tricks as well. We're here to support you. I'm going to put my information in the chat. I am working individually with some of you, and I would love to be able to do that with more of you. My individual coaching is what allows me to do these sessions for free. So anybody who would like to work with me, that information is in the chat, but I'm not selling services today. I'm simply providing you with information, and so are we all. So what I'd like to do, I see Sue and I see Ken. Sue, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you. I've been missing you all for the whole month of January, just about, because I was away traveling, lots of fun, but I'm actually happy to be back, even though this may not be the top choice of the place you want to be. I run a global mentoring consultancy, which means I work with people all over the world in transition. And right now, I actually was on the plane back when the official news came that the public health agency that has worked internationally for 40, 50 years, USAID, was closed down summarily, and it's getting worse. So I've been very involved in that. But remember that everything is global, and many of the companies you're working for have global components. So I try to represent Linda letting me come here to represent the global platforms, and also what Linda can and I and others do and know that can help you in your job search. Listen to me. I always talk about evidence-based results. If you don't have numbers, I'll help you. Most importantly, I'm the mentor with pom-poms. Did you miss my pom-poms, Linda? Yes, thanks.
I absolutely did. Thank you.
know. I know. I didn't even travel with any this time, so I felt a little bit like when I wanted to celebrate something. But anyway, I'm back. I did catch up, Linda, on a couple of the recordings. I like to know what you've talked about, and you've had some great people on that I missed learning from. So I'll turn it back to you. I suspect you're going to Ken next. Hi, Ken. Glad to be back.
I
Great
am
to have
actually.
you back, everyone. Kenneth Lang here in Northern New Jersey. Um, I have been for the last 2 years a branding specialist at Lee Hecht Harrison, and that's one of the things that helps me support a lot of you as well. One of the things that, with all the stuff going on in Washington, that we're challenged with now is how we're going to be dealing with a lot of the people who are going to be coming to us. And we've been changing up some of our best practices because a lot of what worked before isn't really working now. So most recently, I've been tasked by Lee Hecht Harrison to do some specific LinkedIn training and some work in there, because one of the things I see a lot of from people is that they don't update their profiles until they need to. So if I can make one bit of suggestion, it's do it as soon as you can. Most important, if you're in transition, it's never too late to get started, because even if you do it little by little. The most important thing is just to get going. I can't tell you how many people are just so afraid to start posting. They're so afraid to get involved. They're so afraid to let people know they're looking. And it can be little things. Like if you don't let people know that you're looking, if you don't let people know you're available for remote opportunities, if you don't let people know about different things, we're not mind readers. So I'm going to put in the chat a link to my newsletter, which I just rolled out about a month or so ago, with lists all different events that are going to be coming up. And I think Brenda's on the call too, and Sue and Linda. I'm happy to support you all in the best way that I can. And if you have any questions, like I said, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. I have we'll always have conversations with as many of you as possible. So Linda, thank you very much for having this group today. I appreciate being here.
You're welcome, Ken. In fact, one of the people, Ken and I just finalized the fact that he's going to be actually a guest expert on this group and talking about some of those LinkedIn tips, those branding tips that he was talking about for job seekers on March 12th. So
Yeah.
mark your calendars. That's coming up. Thanks, Ken. Always appreciate your support. Brenda, would you like to introduce yourself too?
Right.
There you
Can you
go.
hear me okay? I wasn't prepared, but you
That's
always
okay.
get ready to do these things.
Sure.
So nice to see you again, Linda. Linda was actually in one of my sessions this morning as a participant. Nice to be a participant in yours. My name is Brenda Meller. I'm the LinkedIn coach who loves pie. I'll say that right off the bat. I do run a job seeker group once a month on the first Friday, and many of the same faces you see here, Sue, Linda, Kenneth, we have others that are joining us as well, are part of that call. I see many familiar job seekers in the audience here as well. My area of specialty is LinkedIn coaching. I work with people one-on-one to do executive profile rewrites. I also do offer some free downloadable checklists. I've got a YouTube channel with some free job seeker tips as well, and here to help with LinkedIn questions as needed. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Brenda. I appreciate it. Okay, everybody. So as you know, if you've been in this group before, we always start these sessions with some quick wins. So if you have a quick win that you would like to share, please raise your digital hand. Remember, a quick win can be, yes, I have an offer, or I had a great interview, or I had an interview, I reached out to somebody. Whether it worked or not, it's still a great opportunity and it's still a great win. Okay. Joanne.
Sorry, my mouse doesn't cooperate. I had a virtual interview yesterday for a temp position to cover a medical leave. I thought it went pretty well. The company, I don't know what do they call them now? They used to call them staffing agencies, placement companies. I don't know what they call them now. But the person I was working with is with the same company as Diana Stevens. So fire protection services company, basically the guy got on the video and said, just want to put a face to the name and here's what you'll be doing. Do you have any questions? And that's how it's been left. I'm still waiting to hear back on it. So
Sounds great. Let us know what happens. One of the nice things about some of those temporary roles is that if somebody's out on a medical leave or you're replacing somebody who's out for any reason, that may well turn into a full-time position. You don't know whether or not that person is coming back. More importantly, they now know you. And now you have some experience that you can add to your resume and to your LinkedIn profile that is current, that matches the role you really want. So those are always good things to do. Congratulations. Let us know how it goes.
I will. Thank you.
Michael. Or Mitchell, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was confused for a second. I heard not my name, and then I showed up on the screen. But hi, I'm Mitchell. I'm new. I met with Linda a couple of weeks ago, and in the past week, since Tuesday of last week, I applied for 5 new positions, and I've already gotten interview requests for 3 of them.
Fantastic. Congratulations. Okay, let us know how it goes and how we can help. Anybody else have a quick win? All right. If you're new to the group and you would like to introduce yourself, we have time for a couple of quick introductions. Please type new in all caps in the chat, but also make sure that you raise your digital hand so that we can find you. Okay, and somebody can find him or her. Is your digital hand up?
My digital hand is not up because I can't find it.
It's at the bottom of the screen
React? Ah,
under React. Yep,
okay, yeah, I see it.
there we go. Can you turn your camera on?
It is on. I could see myself. Yes,
could-
good afternoon.
Sorry.
Yes,
Oh,
good,
now I see him. Okay.
good afternoon, Alexander Noskov. I'm a compliance professional. I used to live in New York. Now I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. My last job, I worked at Wells Fargo, but as everyone knows, Wells Fargo is having massive layoffs, so I'm looking for a next opportunity.
Next opportunity to do what? And in what location?
I'm in Charlotte.
Do you want to work remote? Do you want to work on site?
I'm indifferent.
Okay. That's important to know. Did you put your contact information in the chat?
Not yet.
Please do so.
This
Make
is
sure-
first time, so that's why I.
Okay, no. So what we do is put your LinkedIn URL, make it a clickable link so that we can connect with you. I know that a lot of you, like me, still have free accounts. And so as a result, you can't send more than 5 connection request messages a month. If you see somebody from the chat, okay, please make sure that if you're doing the connection request, hint, if they're on this screen now and you're copying them from the chat, most of us are willing to accept those requests without those messages just because we know that you're already here. So go ahead and do that. Okay, thank you. David, did you have a question? I know you're not new.
I'm not new. I didn't get my hand quick enough to talk about a win or a mini
Perfect.
win. So first off, is it just me or are the job postings just blowing up compared to this time last year? Because I've been in the job hunt for just over a year. So I don't know. It seems the volume of job listings are just a lot better. But anyway, I'm in the third level for a position in lead gen. That is definitely my lane and one of my sweet spots. I've been a digital content and lead gen professional amongst some other specialties. So I did a panel of interviews last week, and they're supposed to have a debrief at the end of this week to come to some decision. So the odd thing about this process with this company is they go a little quiet on me after a flurry of interviews. So it's a bit unsettling, but they eventually come back to me. So we'll see where it goes, but crossing fingers, right?
Absolutely. Keep us posted.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay. Cindy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Cindy Fishman, and I am seeking a solutions consulting role with a small to medium-sized technology company that is really focused on solution-focused on their product and enhancing their product for a great customer experience and tailored implementations and continuous improvement. I did have a win Friday. I met with the VP of a company just like this as a solutions consultant, and it went really well. But I kind of got the inside track that they're not hiring and they're putting it on freeze. So a lot of time invested. So
Yeah,
little
unfortunately,
down
but
customer.
you have the practice, you've got the connections. Now you build on those.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. By the way, if you have the information or if they did get back to you and tell you that they're on a freeze, make sure that you go back to them, thank them not only for the interview and the response that you've had, but ask them whether or not you can keep in touch. Tell them how much you enjoyed it, what you liked about the company. I call it a thank you after a rejection. It keeps you in mind, and then make sure you do not only follow up, but that you comment on some of the posts that they make and continue to build connections within that company.
Thank you. I've been doing that, so thank you.
Uh-huh. Hello, Jackie.
Hello. I'm new here. I've been out of the job market since end of March of last year. I'm a technical product owner and business analyst looking for a new role. And I just wanted to introduce myself and just listen in on other experiences. And I just heard someone else say they've been in the market for a while, so I have a little company. Thank you.
You have a lot of company. So so you told us what kind of role you want. Where do you want it? Do you have target companies?
Target companies. I actually like really large organizations, but it really doesn't matter anywhere where I can contribute to what they're doing when it comes to just working with development teams. So I don't really have a preference. Is that recommended, Linda, that I have a
No,
preference?
it's just another way of doing some networking.
Mhm.
So if you have some companies that you're interested in, make sure you follow them on LinkedIn, comment on their posts, and start reaching out to some of their people.
Okay.
Connect with people.
Mhm.
And commenting on those posts as well. What location are you looking for, Jackie?
I'm actually in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I would like to stay in the South Florida area, but remote is fine because I worked remote before. But I don't mind staying where I am in southern Florida, but my parents live in New York. I wouldn't mind going up there again, moving back for work, but I need to work, so I'm sort of almost at desperation right now.
Understood.
Mhm.
Okay, let us know how we can help.
Thanks.
Of course. Okay, guys. So we're at the Q&A kind of a session, but I want to start with something first. David mentioned that he saw lots more jobs being posted right now. That's normal for the beginning of the year when companies have their budgets and they're starting. But what we're also seeing is my cracked crystal ball, and what I'm hearing from a lot of my HR contacts is that unfortunately, some of those jobs that are posted are not necessarily ones that are going to be filled right away. You're also seeing a lot more of as Joe mentioned in the chat, some of the fake jobs. So I'm not sure that these are necessary. Some of them are fake. That's absolutely true. But you're also seeing jobs that are being posted more for building a pipeline, or jobs that are posted and then the company knows that they may have to rescind them later, but they're trying to get that information out there. So while there are lots of jobs being posted, and while I'm seeing a lot of people getting hired recently, a lot of those are for jobs that were posted back in October, November, December, where they started doing that work. And now we're starting to see things starting up again. One of the other things that you're seeing, and Sue mentioned it when she was talking about USAID and other things, and Ken mentioned it too, we've got a lot more layoffs coming, not just from the government sector, but companies are starting to do a lot more layoffs. I'm seeing it in the tech industries. I'm seeing it in the educational field. I'm actually seeing several hospitals that are laying people off. One of the hospitals near me just laid off 100 people. Yeah, and that's a lot for one area. So it's a variety of different industries, a variety of different job areas. What that means is that there are going to be more and more people looking for work, which is why getting the support, understanding what's going on, listening to some of our experts, sharing your advice, sharing what's working for you and what's not, and then getting some of these tips and tricks, great ideas. By the way, I put in the chat the link to our private group. I'll do it again later as well. But we're now moving into, by the way, if anybody else has any suggestions on what you're seeing in the job market, Ken, Sue, Brenda, you seeing the same kinds of things?
I just posted in the chat, I just put a link to my Google Drive. I attended a session with iCIMS yesterday, which is one of the ATS companies, and they were talking about not just how they're using AI, but what they're using it for. And it was very, very enlightening, to say the least. Bunch of recruiters all talking about different things that I kind of assumed were the case, but to hear them talking out loud about that really scared me as a career coach, to be honest, because but it's knowing what you're up against. So that's why it was a 25, 30-page document, and I just started reading it today because I couldn't keep up yesterday. It's a great tool, and it'll give you some sense as to what you're up against, even better than I can,
That's
really.
great. Now, one of the things that I'm hearing though, Ken, is that a lot of recruiters are not using those kinds of AI tools yet. That some of the AI systems that they have, not some of the ATS systems don't support it yet.
Yes and no. The large ones do. It's being rolled out, but I think you have to define what AI is. I think it's too big a term. There are all different things. Again, I can't speak to every single one. I know where we are right now. We have things we're doing internally at LHH with AI, which I can't really go into a lot of detail about, but it's pretty much to help people understand how the systems work and how you can kind of work around them. I'll just put it that way.
And working around them is really important. And there are ways that you
Absolutely.
can absolutely do that. So yeah, I'm interested to read that document as well.
Yeah, and I see, David, I'll put it in the private group as well. Like I said, I just wanted to get it. I recommend any of you go to one of these ICIMS webinars or things just as a job seeker, because you're going to be very enlightened about what you find out there, even more than any of us can share here.
Absolutely. And we have, I'm finalizing a date with a recruiter who's both using LinkedIn Recruiter as well as some of these ATS systems. And hopefully he's going to be able to share some information as well. He's going to be joining us sometime in March or April. I don't have a date yet for him.
I'm trying to get an iCIMS person to come to join me, which will be interesting because I think, yeah, to get those insights be, amazing. Yeah.
I may steal that, Ken. Or borrow it, or find somebody else to do it.
Sure.
But yes, because there are so many ATS systems out there. So yeah, it's really tough.
Yep.
All right, thank you. All right, so what job search questions does anybody have? We're at that session right now. If you've got a question, you can put it in the chat, use the word question in all caps, and then just raise your digital hand as well. Joanne.
A quick question. The interview I had yesterday morning, so it's been over 24 hours. When is it appropriate to follow up with the recruiter?
So I'm assuming you already sent a thank you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you just had the interview yesterday,
Yeah.
I would wait until at least Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay.
So they are looking to get somebody in there ASAP.
Did they give you a date?
No,
Okay.
just that they want somebody in there ASAP.
So you can, if you wanted to, you could follow up tomorrow and ask if there's any additional information that you can provide.
Okay.
Okay. But I wouldn't ask what their date is. As a recruiter sitting on that side of the desk, okay, I can't necessarily give you that information, but that thank you again, and I really enjoyed the conversation. Is there any additional information that I can provide? And then leave it alone.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Sue.
Hi, I realized as Ken was talking, something I investigated last weekend because I was preparing a quick crash course of 2025 job search highlights for the USAID affected folks who have not probably looked for a job in a long time. I have not been looking at job postings since late December, and I looked at probably 10 or 12. They were fairly senior ones, but here's what I noticed. In all except one, they don't give you the information in the text anymore. And I don't know if it was Indeed and LinkedIn and their auto forms about filling in the job posting. So you don't find at the bottom, to apply for this, you must submit your this and your that. One asked for a cover letter, one didn't. And maybe that I just have a small sample of 10 senior positions, but I wanted to bring it up because it's important that you have your documents ready to go if you're trying to apply early and there's more and more people applying. So just a comment, maybe others have heard this, and if not, I'll keep you posted. Now I'm going to be looking at jobs more frequently, but also for that kind of information.
Absolutely. That's a great tip. Thank you. And remember, guys, apply on the company website if you can. And my recommendation is always to do a cover letter as well, whether it asks for it or not. If it doesn't give you the opportunity to upload 2 documents for that particular application, make your cover letter a page of your resume. The ATS systems will read both the resume and the cover letter. And the fact that you've included that cover letter helps you stand out, whether I choose to read it completely or not. But I'll tell you that as a recruiter, cover letters often made a difference in terms of whether or not I invited you to join me for an interview. So there is that. Brenda.
Trying to unmute here. I just want to add to what Sue was saying for people that are applying for jobs. I put this into the chat, but for those of you that are interviewing, always make sure at the end of the interview, one of the last questions you should ask is, when can I expect to hear back from you if I'm continuing on in the process? Even if they don't offer that information, ask them that. Now, in the case of the person who just did the interview, if there was no time frame, but they said it's really a hot job, they're looking to fill it quickly. If you've already sent them a thank you note, today's Wednesday. If I were you, either tomorrow or Friday, I would send another email and say, I just remembered, or I just realized I had forgotten to ask when I can expect to hear back from you. I know it's a hot position that you're looking to fill quickly. If I don't hear back from you, this is really important. Use this language. If I don't hear back from you, I'll check in with you again and then give them a date. And you can do this by email or you can do this by phone. When I was job seeking, I use this technique, and it's really powerful for keeping you top of mind as a candidate, for letting them know that you're interested in a position, and assume they're interested in you until they tell you otherwise. So if it were me, I would be sending them a follow-up note once a week for 4 weeks. And then maybe into the second month, I do it every other week. And at the end of the second month, so that's now the 6th email, the last message is, sounds like you may have put a hold on filling this position. The ball is in your court. You know where to find me. And then leave that situation. If you do it through voicemail, I recommend that you call their office number early in the morning, 7:30 before they get in, because they're going to listen to their voicemails for the day. And they're going to know that you're not going to go away until you respond. But do so politely, assuming they're busy. Hey, this is Brenda Meller. I'm calling to check in again on the marketing director position. Want to let you know I'm still interested. Continuing to look at other roles, but if you're interested in bringing me in, let me know if there's anything additional you need. If I don't hear back from you, I'm going to use that statement again. If I don't hear back from you, I'll try you again next Tuesday. Okay? So, little pro tip, you want to be persistent, polite, professional, assume they're busy, make it super easy for them to hire you, is the advice there.
Not only that, at the end of every email, every conversation, the best way to reach me is, and then make sure you give them that information. If you've got something coming up, I'm happy to work around your schedule, just so that we make sure that things are going. I'm looking forward to the next steps. Always use that soft close, assuming that they are going to be reaching out to you. Absolutely. Great advice. Okay. Stephanie.
Hello, I'm Stephanie Britton. So I've been in this group on and off for a little while, returning after a contract ended. My question is about if you're getting a lot of activity or reach outs, sort of which is good, you want activity. Kudos to Brenda. I'm working with her in her Level Up group. So I've done an overhaul of my LinkedIn, and I've been getting a lot of activity. How do you balance or screen, or I'm getting a lot of contract, a lot of third party I try to weed through it. I don't want to waste my time chasing something, but like I ultimately want a full-time offer, but I realize the market is contract. How do you balance or focus on the right roles instead of letting, let's be honest, some people, if they really want to, can take up a lot of time. And I just, spending time in the right roles. Like, how do you recommend that, or how do you screen that?
You're right, it's tough. Before I give you my advice, anybody else have anything to suggest for Stephanie?
I mean, I'll just say this, I can put on my have a spidey sense about things. Whenever I was interviewing at places, you get a sense pretty early on if they're interested, if it's a job you like. You have to go with your gut sometimes, because many of the consulting jobs I got, I had no idea I was going to get those jobs. I didn't go in with that idea that I even wanted the job. So you have to be flexible. I mean, it comes down to a gut, to be honest. I mean, we all have different viewpoints. When I think about the best jobs I've had, there were jobs I never thought I'd ever get. So that's my thoughts. I don't know if you have a different thought, Linda.
No, I agree with you. In fact, one of the things that you need to know is that you mentioned, Stephanie, that a lot of these are contract jobs. Okay. Unfortunately, we're moving more and more in that direction. In fact, I'm going to a webinar later this afternoon that's talking about that move to that gig economy, to what they're calling now fractional positions and contract roles. One of the things that's important is to remember that you're hiring the next company. If you are taking a contract position, you're taking that fractional role, it does several things for you. Number one is it gives you the opportunity to get the foot in the door in that company. It gives you the opportunity to add some new experience and references, other contacts, okay, to your toolbox. More importantly, what you should know is that if you are taking any of those contract roles or those fractional roles, that doesn't stop your job search. You're hiring that next role. In a contract position, there is this tacit understanding that you will continue to be looking for that full-time role. And so even though they say it may be a 6-month contract, we know that they can cancel it at any time. There is also this understanding on the part of most companies that you can leave at any time, even before the contract is finished.
Yeah, I'm more thinking of before I'm even getting to the screen to the actual company, just a lot of the third-party recruiters, and some are phishing, some are fake. We all know that. Of like how to bail, like I've been trying to just like turn off my alerts, not be available so I can focus on what I want. I just notice it sometimes will take up like your entire afternoon and you're like, what the heck was I doing? And it's just more, I guess, trying to feel like sometimes you feel like you have ADHD and you're like bouncing all over the place. You're like, activity is good, but you're like, I want to focus on activity that's actually going to get me somewhere.
Absolutely. So one of the things that you can do is if you're trying to decide which recruiters to respond to, check them out, see what kinds of jobs they're actually posting, check to see whether or not they are legitimate recruiters. Okay, whether or not they've been verified, whether they really are part of the company that they're with, they say they're with. And you can also check out the other kinds of jobs their companies are posting, because that will tell you whether or not it's worth spending your time with them. You don't have to respond to everybody. You don't have to talk to everybody. You can absolutely filter them out. If it's not a job you're interested in, and you can include, thank you, not interested at this time, but contact me for other positions in this area, do that. Or if you've got somebody you can refer, that's fine too. But don't feel like you have to have a conversation with every interviewer or every third-party recruiter that's out there. One of the other things about third-party recruiters, having been one, is that there are a lot of them who are working on the same position, because the job market for third-party recruiters right now is very tough. So they're all trying to fill the same positions, or many of them are trying to fill the same positions. So you may get contacted 3 or 4 times for the same role.
Yeah, that is happening.
I'm sure it is. Okay. When you are going through a third-party recruiter, that's one of the reasons to check them out. If you have some questions about whether or not this is a real person, reach out. I'm happy to help. Okay. See whether or not I can give you some information. But more importantly, never never allow a third-party recruiter to submit your information without you giving them permission first. And only go in for that position one time. Whether
Okay.
it's 2 or 3 recruiters who are contacting you, if you've already contacted the company yourself, don't go in through a third party.
Okay.
Did that help at all?
Yes.
How can we clarify? What else can we help?
No, I mean, maybe it's a good problem to have. I just, feel like I could do a couple rounds of interviews and then it goes nowhere. It's like feeling like your entire week goes away and you're like, what did I accomplish? And then you're like, oh, I talked to these people, which is great. Totally. I'm very introverted, so that like exhausts me in a good way to where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. And then sometimes you're questioning like, and what do I have to show for it?
I understand. What you have to show for it is the activity, which is always good. You'll learn something from everything.
Okay.
But go
Thank
ahead
you.
and pick and choose, and that's okay too. Your question, please. Steve.
Yep. Good morning, Linda and everyone. My name is Steve Weaver. I've been in and out of the group a little bit, back and forth over the last couple of months. I've been searching since the end of October. And so I have a question, Linda, but I also have an interview format that I thought would be interesting to share with the team that I experienced, if you're okay with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had an interview set up. It was a Zoom call for half an hour, and 24 hours before my interview, I received all of the interview questions. They just sent, here's the whole, here's what we're going to ask you tomorrow. And I really found that to be refreshing and helpful, and really sort of, I kept thinking how much that, I don't know if it's like an equity dynamic or what for me, but I just thought the idea of everyone having a chance to prepare in advance instead of needing to think quickly on their feet and assessing that, they're actually assessing people's thoughtful responses to questions, given an opportunity to fill that out. So I thought that was really unique. I'd never had that kind of interview experience and just wanted to share.
I've seen that on occasion. You're absolutely right. The reason for doing it is to give not only people that opportunity to prepare, but to try and do it in a way that makes it equitable for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it came from.
Yeah, I liked it. And so I'm still a candidate in that process. So thankful for that. My question is about, I guess it's a success as well. I found a part-time position. I've been in the role. This is my 3rd week that I am. It's a temporary part-time position. And what I'm curious about is, at what point does it make sense to add that? Does it make sense to add that experience to my resume and to my LinkedIn profile? Is it right away? Is it after I've been in the role for a time period? I'm just curious about that. To this point, I've not updated my materials to include that position, and so I'm curious what you all think of
I
that.
would add it now.
Okay.
Okay, because you're gaining skills, you're gaining the experience. It gives you that additional expertise level. Okay, it shows that you're doing something, so I would add it.
Okay.
Both resume and LinkedIn.
Okay, great.
So Joe says do it after 30 days. Permanent position I might do after 30 days because you're not sure that it's going to really change. But I would say that you can add it as soon as you want to.
Okay. Yeah, it's technically through May for me, and then sort of outlined in a way that either party could sort of end the employment relationship at any time, but that it was, at least it won't go past May, basically. So.
And you never know, even though people say that. I had one client who actually was doing contracts for the same company. They kept changing the name of the contract, but she did it for 6 years. The
Wow.
contract kept getting renewed.
Okay.
So you honestly don't know the answer to that. We'll see what happens, but I would add it to
But
your.
add it in. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely welcome. Joanne,
I'm back. Um, first of all, Stephanie, I would love to have the problem of too many recruiters banging on my door. I don't know what I may be doing wrong, but anyway, I just want to go back to what Brenda was saying in response to my question about the follow-up, which I love it. I think that's great script. But because I'm going through the recruiter who's kind of like the middleman, I don't have, the personal contact information for the guy that I interviewed with. It's a recruiter that I need to follow up with. So is the same thing apply? Just kind of wait and see? Okay.
I would still do that as well.
Okay.
Okay, and by the way, connect with the hiring manager on LinkedIn. You can send them messages too.
Yeah, I guess, I was looking at it and he's one of those people, he's on the got a profile, but
Not active.
not active. That's the word, not active.
Yeah, unfortunately, that happens. But
Yep.
yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Brenda.
Jackie.
Hi. My last job assignment was only 3 months, and it's the last item. It's for a large company, but it's the last, it's the first thing recruiters will see on my resume, and I'm wondering if I should remove it, or if I should just leave it there.
So how long, you said it was 3 months. How long
Yeah.
had it been before that you were working?
And before that, it was October, November, December, January, 2 months in between. Because I worked for almost 4 years with one company, and I got, my position was sent to India. And so I was out of work for 2 months, and then I took this 3 months contract, knowing it was only 3 months because I was told upfront. But then since then, I haven't had anything that I can actually put on my resume. So I'm just wondering do I remove it or let it stay?
So I'm going to ask Ken and Sue to weigh in on this one as well if they'd like to. But let me see. Sorry for putting you on the spot, Ken.
Can you just repeat the question? Because I was actually just putting something in the chat.
Oh, yeah, no, Ken, I was just asking if my last work assignment was only 3 months, and I just wanted to know if I should remove it.
Depends on what you did for the 3 months versus what your next job is going to be.
Mhm.
I would say if it was just a fill-in job and it wasn't related to anything else, I don't think that's significant. But if you've done a couple of jobs like that, you can combine them as one heading, if you will,
Mhm.
and just bullet point the accomplishments with each. Because I get that a lot with the clients I have. They go from gig to gig to gig because that's what they have to do.
Yeah.
So maybe you find commonality that way. I mean, there's no one right or wrong answer for this, but these are just a couple of things I would recommend if that makes sense.
But okay, if your gig, all right, this is something else because I've done this. If your gig is with, like different companies, right? Don't you have to put like the name of the employer or something like that? But if you've worked different
But
gigs,
you can call yourself a consultant and then list the companies underneath it. I was a consultant for 2 years. Some of my assignments included this, and not even mentioning the time frame that was there
Mhm.
because no one has to know that. They just, I mean, so you're not lying per se, but you don't have to. I mean, but it's a valid thing.
Okay, but you don't put the name of the different companies that you worked with. You just
But
put,
No, you do, but you might be like a consultant.
Right.
I was a project manager. I was a business analyst. I was X.
yeah,
And underneath it, like for 2 years, and then underneath it, bullet point. These were some of my clients during that time. Bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. Underneath that one frame, that time frame. I mean, that's one of the things we suggest a lot, because again, and then you can go into much more detail in your LinkedIn profile. Then you can
Yeah.
then you can list all of them out.
Right.
'Cause Real
And I
real
would
estate on a
absolutely,
resume is very, very, you want to keep to the real estate, make it as relevant as possible.
right. And I would suggest that you list that exactly the way Ken talked about it. I think it works both for your resume as well as for LinkedIn. The other thing about listing some of those gig jobs in those companies you're working with, sometimes those companies are named companies in your
Yeah.
field.
Yeah.
And so you want to make sure that they're there, and that's a good way to do it. You don't have to put the dates for each individual one, especially if we're talking about several 3-month contracts.
Nor would you
Yeah.
want to.
No, the other thing too is that it gives you the opportunity to talk about specific accomplishments that you've had related to those companies
Yep.
and the skills that you've been able to master or demonstrate in those roles. So it makes you more marketable rather than less.
Okay, but so back to my original question, then it was just one specific company that I worked with for
Okay.
that specific 3 months period. And it's the last paid gig I've had.
Okay.
So do I take it off? And then it ended in March of
No.
2024. Do not take it off. I love Sue is
Go ahead,
okay.
Sue.
Well, everything Ken and Linda said was what I was going to say. But here's the thing. You have the opportunity, even though there was a longer term job and then a short term job, to do an introduction. Hopefully you're using some kind of summary up top, take control of the convo. And in that, you can choose your title. I functioned as a business analyst in both short and long-term positions, or long and short-term positions, and emphasize what you want them to hear about your accomplishments. It doesn't matter when you do that, what the title is at the company, one company versus another. Weave the story, as Linda and Ken just said, about the skills you're using, the results you're bringing, and you'll be in good shape.
Thank you
Absolutely.
very much.
So yes, absolutely leave that position on there.
Mhm.
All right. I'm just, do you guys think age has something to do with any of this? Why it's a lull? I've been interviewing, by the way. And I don't know if it's my age or if it's that I'm not presenting well.
Depends.
Depends.
It
All
does.
right. Okay.
I mean,
All right,
you're not
that's a
going to
win.
you're not going to do yourself any service with certain things, but it's little things. And and for us as career coaches, I'll be honest, it's about being diplomatic about things, because it's not what you say, but how you say it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So presenting yourself in the best light, and if you want to practice, let us know. But
Yeah.
the idea is, can I tell you that age is not going to be a factor? I can't do that.
Yeah.
Age sometimes comes into play. Can I tell you that I'm older than you are? Absolutely. Okay.
You may not be.
So the point is that, yes, there's lots of things that could affect the situation, but
Yeah.
your goal, regardless of how old you are or how young you are, how new you are to the field, or how much experience you have, is to present yourself as the solution to their problems. What it is you can do for them, what you've been doing to update your skill set if you're concerned about age.
Mhm.
Okay, there are several different ways that we can talk about presenting yourself to help minimize that age factor.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm looking at your profile. I think I'm looking at your profile now.
Mhm.
And, there's things I would probably recommend right off the bat. I mean, is it the one where you're at, I think, ADP?
Yeah.
And that was in March of 2024. So my first thought would be, what have you done since then from an experience standpoint?
Mhm.
Because I mean, and little things like that. Like I said, I don't want to nitpick or anything like that.
That's all right.
But again, because that's what a lot of us do. Brenda, myself, Linda, Sue. We all look at LinkedIn profiles as part of this. I do that LHH as a matter of course,
Yes.
because I just want to see what's there. A lot of times jobs don't match what's on a resume
True.
or things like that.
And that's an automatic red flag.
Absolutely, yeah,
Okay. From a recruiter standpoint, automatic red flag.
absolutely.
Brenda.
All right. Thank you.
All right, I feel like I need to crack my knuckles for this one because I talk about experience rich a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, is age discrimination out there? Of course it is. It's out there. But do people work past the age of 65? Of course they do. there are leaders from across the world who are over the age of 65. I'm not going to get into any politics or anything here that are feeling that they are qualified, right? So if you're in an interview situation and you feel like the age might be a question, embrace it, own it, and put it in a positive light. Hey, Linda, I noticed that you're hiring for a position. You're looking for somebody with 5 to 10 years of experience. I absolutely have, over 10 years of experience. Now, the great thing about hiring someone like me who's experience rich is that I'm not going to expect to get a promotion in another year. I've been around. I understand how to work in teams. I know what you're looking for this position, and I know what the opportunities are within the role. And I know I can definitely hit the ground running. Now, what you can expect from me is, in addition to not wanting a promotion in a year, you can expect that I'm going to show up on time, that I know how to work with others in the organization. I understand organizational hierarchy, all that good stuff. I'm bringing with me a wealth of experiences from other industries, including X, Y, and Z. And I know what this role is, and that's why I'm applying for it. I'm not hoping to move up into a leadership role. I just want to be an individual contributor and roll up my sleeves and get started. So hopefully that addresses any questions you have. Like, I want you to embrace it and love it and own it, and not shy away from the fact that you're older. My aunt turned 70 this year, and I made a birthday card for her, and it says, "Congratulations on reaching level 70." I mean, think about that. When you think about your age as a level, like a video game level, you got to level 70. And I've worked with job seekers. There's one guy I work with, his name was David. He was in his 80s. He found a job. A company hired him. So you're done working when you're done working. And if you have something to give to an organization, focus on what you do offer, downplay that age as a negative and play it up as a positive.
And
Right.
mention yourself as a mentor. I love the word mentor. You can mentor teams. You can share your experiences. Just different buzzwords like that. Look, I'm 67, but I don't feel 67. Because it's a mindset thing. And a lot of people that are interviewing feel threatened.
Mhm.
But I will say this, because I work with people that are graduates, just graduated school. They have a different issue with age discrimination. They can't get a job
Right.
because they don't have the experience. And I've learned a lot from them about the challenges that they have. So it's how you portray yourself. I mean, you can mentor teams. You can answer things quickly and easily. You don't have to, vent and all text and all that stuff. I mean, just look at the positives. I mean, Brenda, I love the whole experience rich thing that Brenda does, because it's a great thing. You don't lose your experience when you lose your job. And you keep growing. And I think a lot of it's a mindset at our age, for sure.
I agree. And I'm going to do a slightly different spin on what Brenda talked about in terms of I can hit the ground running and I'm not looking for the next promotion. What you can also say is, basically been there, done that, got the t-shirt. And I've decided that at this point in my career, what I really enjoy is doing that work. I'm taking that step back. I'm taking that space to move to a different role in my career, but doing it on purpose, in effect. I'm doing it deliberately to focus in on the things that I not only do best, but that I enjoy. And that's that individual contributor role, not only doing the work, but mentoring other people who are in those roles. And then you talk about the experience that you bring. And I find that works extremely well, rather than saying, I'm not looking for the next promotion. But you have to do what works best for you. But that whole idea of embracing it, yeah, nobody's going to put an end to your career unless you do. None of us have that little expiration date, barcode kind of thing that says you can't get another job. Just keep right on going. Okay. Thank you. Next question. We've got a very active chat going there today, which is wonderful. Okay. We are actually just about done with our time, so happy to continue this for another couple of minutes if anybody wants to. If we don't get a chance to answer your questions in the chat, make sure that you do put the question in there, and we will do it, because we're going to copy that chat into the private group. and we'll answer them there as well. Okay. Next week, I'm really excited. I'll give you a couple of heads up. Next week, we actually have, shoot, I can't remember her first name, but the author of a book called Layoff Cooties, Dealing with Layoff Cooties. Her name is Laura Krause, and she's going to be talking with us about how to handle those layoff cooties, how to deal with being laid off. We're going to share some resources, and then how to talk about those layoffs, not only after you've gone through those stages of grief yourself and you're getting back out there, but also how do you talk about it on the way you connect with people in your networking conversations and in your interviews, so that people will respect the experience that you have and bypass the idea that you've been laid off. The important thing to remember about layoffs is it's them, it's not you. Okay, and you still have all of that experience. They lost you. It's not that you did anything wrong. And as we start to see more and more of these conversations out there, more and more of these layoffs, and for many of us, I don't know about you, but I've been laid off 3 or 4 times in my career. Okay, I know, Ken, you have too. Brenda, you have too. So it all works, right?
This is the anniversary of my layoff from UPS this week.
Yep.
Walked in the door and they canned me.
Yep.
Yep. Remember like it still happened.
Exactly.
So,
So really excited to have her join us. So we're going to do that, and we're going to share some resources and assistance there as well. Put my information into the chat as well. I am happy to have a conversation with anybody to carry this on further. If you have topics that you would like us to talk about, make sure that you add them either in the private chat with the idea, okay, all in caps, resource, all in caps, speaker, all in caps, so that we get an idea of who's going to be there, what kinds of ideas and issues that you have. On the last Wednesday of the month, which I think is February 26th.
Yeah.
Right? Kevin D. Turner. I'm looking at Ken's picture on the screen. Kevin D. Turner is going to be joining us to talk about LinkedIn updates and answer all of your questions about that as well. So we're really excited for all of these situations. As a reminder, I'm putting the Lynch and Learn private chat. I'm going to stop the recording, by the way. And we're going to continue from there. So right now, what I want you to know is that we're here for you, regardless of what's going on in your life. We know you don't want to be here, but our goal is to help you in any way that we can. Please reach out. Our goal is to not see you next month, okay? Not because we don't want to see you, but because we know you don't want to be here. So we'd love to be able to have you share your job goals so that we can support you in any way that we can. Kevin Turner is going to be here on February 26th. Okay. And Laura Krause will be here on next Wednesday, which is the 12th. Okay. Thank you all for coming. Remember to connect with one another and with me. Let me know how I can help you. Let us all know how we can help you. To copy the chat, you can go up to the top of the chat screen where it says Job Search Lunch and Learn. There are 3 dots beside that, and it says you can save the chat. Please do. You can also do it the old-fashioned way, which is to do your cursor through the entire chat link and copy that as well. In addition, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the chat into our private group so that if anybody else needs it, it's going to be there. Hopefully those links to each other's LinkedIn URLs will be active. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. but we'll try and do that, and I will get it out there hopefully this afternoon. In addition, Zoom gives us the opportunity to actually do LinkedIn's, or excuse me, an AI summary of the meeting. I will also add that to the chat, and I will make sure that hopefully the recording gets put up right away. So thank you all. If you have any questions, please reach out and let me know what's going on. And I'm going to leave this open for a couple of minutes, and then we'll go from there. Thanks, guys. Have a great
Thanks.
Yeah.
Have a
Mhm.
great day, everybody.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye.
Linda,
Yes.
sorry. While you're leaving, I have while you're waiting, quick question. I'm a volunteer for my condo association. I'm a director and I'm the assistant treasurer, and I actually approve all the invoices. I just got a call. You have an invoice waiting to approve. I'm just wondering if I can put that on my resume because
Absolutely.
really
Volunteer activity, sure. Board of directors, yes. Treasurer, yes.
listed in the chronological section or the reverse chronological order on my resume? I can.
Sure.
Oh,
Volunteer work absolutely can add to your resume and to your LinkedIn profile. And it gives you something to fill in the blanks.
yeah, it's a lot of work. So, okay. All right. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Volunteer work is highly valuable in serving this current experience. I just did it with my own profile, so I just thought I'd throw that in. So,
Yep.
good
Absolutely.
idea.
Okay.
I've done it with mine in the past.
hmm
If anybody else wants to reach out, okay. Feel free to email me, message me. Okay. I'm going to put myself off screen and take myself off audio. But if you need me, I'll keep the meeting open for another couple of minutes, just so that everybody can copy things if they want to. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you. This has been wonderful. Nice meeting you guys.
I'm glad you got something out of it. Thank you. Hope we'll see you again.
You will. Thank you.
Charles or Robert, are you all still there?
I was just going through the chat, but I've downloaded part of it from my desktop and I was just looking at it on my phone. You can dump it, that's fine.
Up to you. I'm happy to stay on a little longer if you need to, if you want it.
Yeah, just give me, if you could, another 5 minutes would be
Not a
great.
problem at all.
I really appreciate it.
Of course.
I was mobile today. FYI, I know there's like a mini job fair next weekend, in Schaumburg. I can post something in the chat about it.
Why don't you post it in the private group?
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It's more likely to be seen there.
Okay, perfect. Will
No,
do.
thank you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, just a few more minutes and then I should be done with this. Thanks.
Not a problem at all. Thank you.
Yep.
Robert, are you still on the call? Okay, I'm going to close the room in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,